Right. Okay, Councillor Rogers. Right. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. Welcome along to this special Cabinet meeting on Wednesday, the 26th of May at 4 p.m. this afternoon. I'm going to jump straight into the agenda. Colleagues, are there any apologies for absence? No? Okay, I'll move straight on to agenda item number 2, and that is declarations of interest. The members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal or prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained within this agenda. And Councillor Chris Davis, I can see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Just to say, going to declare my personal and prejudicial interest in the matter that's on the special cabinet agenda this afternoon. The proposal contained in the recommendations of the report of the officers is within the vicinity of my home. So on that basis, my personal and prejudicial interest, and I'm now, with this being the only item on this afternoon's special cabinet meeting, I'm now going to leave the meeting, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. That is noted, and I respectfully ask you to now leave as I go into the strategic items. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, we'll move straight into the strategic items then, and that is agenda item number 3, and that is the 3 to 16 voluntary aided school site, and this is the consultation number 2, and that is to consider a report from the Chief Officer of Education, and being chair in Cabinet, my colleague, I believe, Councillor Geraint Thomas, is going to take this report for me.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Yeah, I'll take it for you. The summary of the report in 1.1, the purpose of the report is to provide an update regarding the outcomes of the 3 to 16 voluntary aided Catholic school site consultation undertaken in April-May, and to seek approval to continue design development of the new school build on the recommended option. If I take members to the introduction and background in 3, on the 11th of September 2019, following 2 stakeholder and public consultations, the local authority approved the proposal to close St Aloysius Roman Catholic Primary, St Illtyds Roman Catholic Primary and St Mary's Roman Catholic Primary Schools and Bishop Headley Roman Catholic High School, with effect from the 1st of September 2022, creating a 3 to 16 all-through Catholic school. Following a feasibility study undertaken by Atkins of the land south of the Greenie, west of Galanachev Road, and the current Bishop Headley High School upper and lower sites as potential preferred sites, 2 viable site options were taken out of consultation in November 2020 for a 3-week period. 58 responses were received from stakeholders as part of this consultation, including residents, parents, school staff, parishioners and community representatives. On the 6th of January 2021, following a review of the consultation responses, the local authority approved the land south of the Greenie, west of Galanachev Road, as the site for the purpose of building the new 3 to 16 school. Wilmot Dixon construction were also approved on the 6th of January 2021 for Phase 1 design development, and were requested to undertake further scoping to meet the authority's aims to respond to the initial consultation feedback and consider the best solutions for the position of the school building, traffic management, drop-off parking and sports facilities. So in 4, Leader, we got site options and consultation 2 for April-May 2021. As a result of the additional scoping works undertaken as part of the design development by Wilmot Dixon and the wider design team, including Atkins, Cambria Consulting Limited, Acorn and local authority officers, alternative options for the proposed siting of the school were developed for further consultation with stakeholders. These options are as follows. Option 1 is a further development of the approved option A from the initial consultation November 2020, now with all car parking and drop-off facilities on the same side of the road as the school building. There would still be proposed shared use of one of the community playing fields, enhanced to an all-weather facility and with car parking provided for community access out of school hours. Option 2 is an alternate configuration of the whole site. The school building now being located on the current Greeny playing fields, with both playing fields relocated to the southern end of the site. One of the playing fields would be shared all-weather facility and the other field would be accessible to the community at all times. Following discussions and engagement with Cabinet members, ward councillors, the Archdiocese, the new 3 to 16 governing body and head teachers, chairs of governors of the current Catholic schools, Gourness Football Club and concerned residents, the local authority went live with a public stakeholder consultation from Friday the 23rd of April to Friday the 7th of May 2021. Please see Appendix 1 for the consultation pack, including a consultation survey that was made available online via the council's web page and social media. And I know members, you've gone through that quite thoroughly in meetings previously as well. 144 hard copies of the consultation pack were delivered to residential properties in the immediate vicinity of the proposed school sites and all school governors. 40 hard copies and display plans from the consultation pack were also made available across the 4 local Catholic parish churches. In addition to completing the survey, targeted stakeholder and public consultation sessions were held on Microsoft Teams as follows. On the Thursday, the 29th of April 2021, 3 to 16 governing body and head teachers. Friday, the 30th of April 2021, Gourness Football Club and Merthyr Tydfil Football League. Tuesday, the 4th of May 2021, residents living in immediate vicinity of proposed sites. And on Wednesday, the 5th of May 2021, the general public. In 5, the consultation sessions outcomes. Detailed minutes of each of the consultation sessions are provided in Appendix 2. The following summaries the main points raised by the different stakeholder groups. In 5.3, the 3 to 16 governors and head teachers raised these points. Positive that all facilities are on the same side of the road, size of school footprint and cost timescales of each option, ground conditions and drainage, parking drop-off, sufficiency of places provided, travel plan, separate changing rooms for community use, impact of floodlights on residents, retention of some current Bishop Headley sporting facilities. The Gourness and the Football Club, Gourness Football Club and Merthyr Football League raised the following. Size of the 3G pitch, option 2 is smaller. Minimum standards to allow league progression. Parking for 3G pitch, distance significant for option 2. Assurance, reference to community use of pitch. Access to separate changing facilities. Over-reliance on school to access facilities. Cost of higher facilities. Booking arrangements for the pitch and access for other users. The residents said the ground conditions, drainage and landfill, extent of community use of playing field and school site, antisocial behaviour, parking drop-off, site security, privacy, location of community playground, traffic calming measures. And the general public, parking the drop-off, noise pollution, light pollution, traffic impact assessment, traffic calming measures, access, egress, travel plans, antisocial behaviour, ground conditions, drainage, floodlights, impact on wildlife and privacy. The main concerns, questions and suggestions raised across the 4 meetings have been grouped together and responded to. If I can take you next to the conclusion in 7, that both options provide viable solutions for a 3 to 16 new school build, but not without their challenges that will require appropriate design solutions and ongoing mitigation or risk through management of the site and facilities. Option 2 is the preferred option overall, and for each group of respondents, except for the local community representatives, including Gourness Football Club, who prefer option 1 and have specific concerns and requirements if option 2 is implemented. Residents are split on the options depending on their views regarding which configuration is likely to impact on them the most. Overall, residents slightly prefer option 2 to option 1, 40% to 36%, but for both options, the majority of residents view the proposals as less than satisfactory, and 24% indicated that neither option is preferable. However, 36% of residents who responded do consider option 2 as the most satisfactory, and this option scores more favourably than option 1. So the next steps for the local authority are, subject to the approval of the option indicated in the recommendations above, Phase 1 design development work will continue with Wilmot Dixon, the school and other stakeholders to design the school building, site and appropriate agencies. The traffic impact assessment will be completed and discussions between the local authority and the contractors on the appropriate highway solutions to mitigate and manage the risks identified. Ongoing discussions with Gourness Football Club and other stakeholders to support temporary solutions for access to football pitches during the construction phase and to address the requirements for appropriate use agreements that secures the use of facilities to an appropriate standard. A cost plan be prepared for the relocation of the community pitch, provision of separate changing rooms and required boundary fencing, etc., so that appropriate funding can be sourced to finance these works that sit outside of the 21st Century Schools project. Additional design works to develop a zero carbon scheme will be undertaken, which will require approval from Welsh Government and the local authority to secure the required intervention rate of 85% grant and 15% match. Business case will be developed and submitted to Welsh Government using the 5-stage model to secure requisite approvals, including the full business case due to be submitted in November 2021. Planning permission for the scheme that is designed will be sought before the end of the calendar year, and if approved, the project will progress to construction phase in January 2022. The financial implications are the required 50% local authority match funding for the 3 to 16 voluntary aided school project is secured with the Council's medium-term financial plan, and Welsh Government approvals have been provided with a Banbury programme envelope for the project. Project budget reviews are required as part of the business case development, and additional funds will be requested as part of the aspiration to develop a zero carbon school. A subsequent report will be required to seek approvals once the detail is known. A subsequent report will be brought back to consider additional funds required to enable the relocation of the community facilities as required in option 2. Members, if I can take you now back to the recommendations on the front page. The recommendations are set out in 2.1 to 2.4. The building location and site configuration as indicated by option 2 be approved. Further consideration of the traffic impact assessment and related design solutions prior to any final decision to construct the site be undertaken. Further consideration of Gourness Football Club access and use requirements to the proposed shared community pitch and development of appropriate solutions prior to any final decision to construct on the site be undertaken. And in 2.4, design development with all relevant stakeholders to address concerns identified through the construction and mitigate risk as appropriate to continue. I so move, Chair, and in doing so, as an administration, we do listen to the general public and the concerns of the residents in that area. And I know that traffic impact study is very important to us all, and the safety on the Gananochaf Road. And also, it's the community use is also important to us as well. And I know that talks will continue with Gourness Football Club, so they make sure that they secure the future on those playing fields. And I so move, Chair.
Well done.
Well, thank you ever so much, Councillor Geraint-Thomas. I appreciate it was a different portfolio for you, but a very thorough moving of that report. So thank you. But it was much appreciated because I think it was it's an emotive issue for many, and it was much needed. So thank you for that. Councillor David Hughes, I believe I'm coming to you next to second this report. Is that right? Yes,
I second that, Chair. And in doing so, I look forward to seeing the traffic impact assessment.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Hughes. I appreciate that. Okay, colleagues, are there any questions in relation to this report? Okay, oh, right, Councillor Andrew Barry. Sorry, you're on mute.
First one of the day, you know. Steve, on option 1 or option 2, decarbonisation to one side, traffic survey to one side, what is the amount we are going to be spending on this school? Just an indicative amount.
Off the top of my head, Andrew, I haven't got that information with me at the present time. If you give me a minute or two, I'll see if I can identify it now.
Okay.
Okay, Councillor Andrew Barry, I think the amount was in a previous report, so if you just bear with us, we'll come back to your question if that's okay, unless you've got a subsequent question. I'll move on to other colleagues who may have a question, and we'll come back to you. Okay, colleagues, any other questions? Okay, so we'll just bear with us a second. We'll just check with Steve on the costings.
Lisa, can I come in there, please? I know Steve is checking.
Sorry, Anthony, I forgot you were in the virtual room then. Yes, please do so.
Just in terms of the overall project budget, we're looking at around £28 million, and that's split then between Welsh Government and local authorities. So it's a 15% match contribution from the local authority for the 28 million. And then that would be profiled across the capital programme and would require prudential borrowing to finance it. So whether Steve's looking for that then specific detail in terms of how much it's going to cost us to finance the borrowing, but it'll be 15% of the 28 million would be the LA's contribution financing that way then. So it's around 4.2 million.
Lovely, thank you, Ant.
Thanks, Anne. That would be, I'm presuming that's exclusive of the decarbonisation agenda and what would subsequently come out of the traffic impact survey then?
Yeah, that would then be on top of that. The zero carbon will be worked on once we have the decision with regards to the site. The zero carbon will be taken forward then. They've already started some design works around it, but we obviously needed the approvals to progress, and the same with the community option then as well.
Okay, and if I could, Chair, as Anthony's on, we've spoken previously about the amount of consultation and the numbers, and I questioned whether you'd captured the amount of people who would need to be engaged with if we are spending circa 28 million on a school. The figures I've been presented with today are over 4 consultations, 82, 110, 136 and 59, a total of 387 people. Is that a true reflection of everyone that we've consulted with?
I think in terms of the detail in the report, we've had numerous conversations with different stakeholder groups that haven't been captured in those numbers. We've captured those numbers based on the specific survey responses that we've had back. The report outlines that we've sent out many more hard copies than that, but we've also engaged in many discussions with the governing body or with concerned interested groups across the 4 consultations, and many individuals that have come in the drop-in sessions in the first 2 that were around the merger of the school. I think it has been more difficult with regards to COVID and us being able to engage as fully as we'd like to. But with regards to that, we have obviously made ourselves available for the team session in the most recent consultation, as well as targeting with hard copies as many of the stakeholders who are directly affected as possible. So I think we've certainly done all we can to engage those affected parties as fully as possible.
And how, sorry, Chair, I'm just trying to clarify this. So in terms of those pupils in the schools involved, how many pupils are we talking about?
I haven't got the direct number of pupils to hand in terms of how many have engaged across the 4 consultations, Councillor Barry, I'm afraid.
Okay, but my concern is obviously that if you've not reflected the amount of consultees, then as this report stands, we're looking to spend £28 million on 387 people that we've recorded as being consultees. That's just not good enough to be spending £28 million. That consultation needs to be far wider or better reflective of what you've done.
Okay, and Councillor Barry, I'll bring Sue in at that point. Sue?
Councillor Barry, if you were talking about engagement with the young people, the engagement with the young people was throughout the first 2 consultations, when we actually undertook all their concerns about the actual merging of the schools. They weren't part of the consultation for the second one, but we have been out to the schools. As Anthony said, we haven't. We have discussed it with all governing bodies originally and governing bodies moving forward. In this consultation, we've also been to the schools to meet with parents and to meet with staff, and all those minutes were actually included. Although the number of people didn't necessarily respond, those numbers were all included in the first 2 meetings. So in some of those meetings, we had upwards of 50, 60 parents and more, and all the staff have been consulted. So I do feel that we have certainly given this a lot of discussion with parents. They may not have responded to the consultation, but we have actually spoken to people and they've been involved in the consultation.
Where is that? Are you saying that's not reflected then, Sue?
It's in the first 2 consultations. If you actually look at the very first 2 consultations that we actually did, all that information in regards to the pupils, the parents, and the staff and the governors is included in the very first 2 consultations when you agreed to actually merge the 4 schools.
Okay. I'm presuming.
Can I just reiterate the point as well that this cabinet passed both those consultations as well, and those cabinet papers previously, which included the budget for the school and included the wider participation of those consultations as well?
Absolutely. But when we're about to spend 28 million, we have to be thorough.
And I believe the officers have. Councillor Barry, and as cabinet member for that portfolio, I've obviously ensured that the consultation 4 in total has included a wide audience. But that audience, you can send the parents' letters, which we have done, the children, the residents, etc. But we cannot physically make them reply, unfortunately, as much as we would like to engage with everybody.
The wards have, just Gyfarthfa and Pendarren, have 11,000 people there.
Councillor Barry, is this a question or an observation? Sorry.
My question, I think, has not been answered, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, colleagues, if there are no more questions, then we'll move on. Councillor Barry, you've still got your hand up. Is there a legacy hand or? Thank you. So, colleagues, we'll move on to observations. Councillor Barry, did you want to come back and have an observation in relation to that consultation? And other colleagues, I now open it to the floor for any observations.
Yeah, well, it was only to follow that up, really, Chair. It was to say, the 11,000 people within those 2 wards, 387. We've either not captured what we've done, or if that's representative of the amount of people that have been spoken to, I don't think it's anywhere near close enough to me being convinced to be spending £28 million.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Councillor Gehring-Thomas, please.
Chair, just check with the moderator officer. If I speak now, they might close the debate. So I know someone else might want to come in first.
Sorry, go on, Kath.
Just to check that if there is anybody else who wants to speak, because Councillor Thomas is entirely right. He will close the debate if he speaks now.
Yes, forgive me. Bear with me then, Councillor Thomas. Let me just give others an opportunity. Councillors, did anybody else wish to speak? Okay, in that case, Councillor Thomas, if you wouldn't mind, as Cabinet member, I would like this opportunity just to have my own observation, and that is that, you know, I have another 21st century school build, Ysgol y Graig, a considerable amount of money that has been spent on that, and also, unfortunately, as much as we consulted, and we actually had several physical consultation meetings in the school, in the community, etc., you know, we still only had, in that case, around 200 responses to that particular consultation. So the point that I'm making is sometimes, as I said, as much as you put that out there on social media platforms, we even had direct mails going out, we held Teams meetings because of COVID. Prior to that, we had face-to-face meetings. There is only so much consultation you can do to actually get that feedback. Sorry, so much encouragement, I meant, sorry, to get that feedback. You know, what I am happy with is that it's been thorough, and we have met the statutory guidance for consultation in any form really with in relation to this particular site. And as Councillor Thomas has outlined in the recommendations as well, we will continue to consult with the residents, the young people, the children who are obviously a priority in this school, and of course those who use the recreational facilities as well moving forward. Councillor Gehring-Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Just to say, you know, I think it was important to get to this stage, to get this preferred site, so we all can channel our efforts now in developing a final programme of works for it. It's an exciting project for me. You know, we've got 4 ageing schools which will now close to build this fantastic 21st century facility. You know, enhanced provision for the children, great sporting facilities, you know, second to none, you know, around the area. So for me, you know, it's a fabulous opportunity, and it just shows our aspirations for our young people of Merthyr Tydfil, because that's what we're talking, and further afield, because don't forget, they do cross over from the Heads of the Valley area as well to attend the Faith School. So yes, Chair, I think it's a real good report. We've consulted as best as possibly we can. So now let's, you know, hopefully move on and, you know, let's support the works on option 2.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. OK, that closes the debate then, colleagues. I'll move straight to the vote. So all those in favour, please raise your hands on the screen.
So if that is correct, then I was just going to say, trying to count how many. So you now have 4 in favour. You're on mute, Chair, but I think you probably need to
apologies.
Ask.
Then I said, are there any abstentions? Sorry. OK, any against? OK, thank you all for that. That is actually moved and voted for in favour. The next item on the agenda is any other business deemed urgent by the chair. I have none. Thank you ever so much for today, and thank you for your comments. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.